the last week, Nick wants my spot. He wants to replace me.
Nick was his biggest threat. I know he told me that.
He saw Nick as the biggest threat from day 2, he told me.
Yeah, he did. He told me that too. Nick and Joe.
Nick and Joe. Why Joe?
Because they're both the funny guys. That's why.
Well, not only. Eric had things going on both sides with Kale and with us, and Joe would have outed it because Joe had things going on with everyone and anyone. And eventually Joe would have found out. That's why I'm here, and that's why Joe's gone. That's why Eric voted Joe out and didn't vote me out. And at that time, Eric thought that he had a deal with me. And then Eric, on the other hand, has been running into the DR, complaining, trying to get me booted out of here for the iced tea and everything else. And that's what I couldn't understand, was why would they bring up Season 6 as an example with HoH chasing whatever that chick around for 4 days nonstop, just harassing her, trying to voluntarily exit her. And then they would talk to me about it, they would talk to you about it. When I brought up there was a season that this and that, Eric goes Season 6. They told me Season 6. They told me Season 6. Why in the fuck would they tell him anything unless he was in there and then he's being my friend and this and that and hey bro, I missed those talks that we had and this and that. And it was out of the 7, when it got down to the 7 after we were done picking them off, it was you and Amber that were to go first and you were to go first. And I'm sure he told the rest of you that it was me and Danielle to go first. And in the meantime, me and Danielle are over here, Kale and Jen are over here. We're trying to slice each other's throat and everybody else is sitting back, including Eric. Eric, I've never seen so comfortable. Do you feel comfortable when the nominations come up? I know that she doesn't. I know that you don't.
I never do.
I don't either. Eric didn't give a shit who won because Eric knew he was safe because he's playing both sides. If me and Danielle were to go up and a POV was used, you were going to go up. If it was the other way, had nothing to do with Eric. It was you and Kale and Zach was to go up.
Jen, let me ask you, do you feel like Eric is playing both sides? Like he has been playing you, making you feel safe from day 1 up until today?
Yes.
That he has been giving you information every single day, that he's been telling you exactly what this group has been doing, and he's been keeping you up to date?
Not every single day, but yes.
Okay, why is it that when I questioned you outside and when I questioned you yesterday, you did not come so forthcoming with this information?
Because the way you were questioning me made me feel uncomfortable.
And the way that I'm pinpointing you at this point doesn't?
That's what she's saying, is that it does, Dustin. She even told me that the way that you approach people, I've even told people that. Sometimes you just, it's the same thing with him, you know, the way that he approaches people, it just makes you feel uncomfortable sometimes and you feel put on the spot.
Well, I don't
Why we ended up yelling at each other 5 minutes ago.
Well, I don't try and beat around the bush.
I don't either.
Well, it's
doesn't mean that it makes people feel comfortable. And to be honest with you,
it's still like, you know, like I feel like it's like I'm stupid for saying it because it's like at the same time I'm sure all you do. Like I feel stupid because I'm like, well, what if I was his #1 and I just screwed myself? Like that type of thing. Like I still feel like that. I honestly still feel like that.
Why do you
How many people here feel like he was their #1?
Not me. But why do you think that I left the room that one day, Dustin? I left the room crying for like 3 hours because of the way that I was put on the spot and the way that every single one of these eyes in this room were staring at me and I felt personally attacked. That's why I left the room and I was crying for like 3 hours.
We weren't personally attacking you,
Not
though.
you.
Can I ask, who in here has a deal with Eric?
A deal?
Not a deal.
Any kind of an agreement, any kind of I'll watch your back, you're my #1 kind of a thing?
Well, we all do because we're in...
But inside the 7. That's all I'm saying, ma'am. And you know what? I discounted the fact and I wasn't thinking, and I do apologize because you are going through more than anybody because of Amber thing, and I'm sorry.
Well, and Danielle, I understand that you're empathetic to me at this point because you went through it last week, but I just happen to have a different handle on it than you do. You left the room. And you didn't try and stick up for Nick, and I am.
Yes, I did try to stick up for Nick, and don't say that I didn't, Dustin.
And nobody wanted to listen to her because her emotions were involved.
You know what, honestly, I'm sorry, but that really makes me mad, because I talked to you, I talked to you, I talked to you, I talked to you, I talked to everybody, and nobody would listen to me because Nick was my best friend in this house. And because we were like this, nobody wanted to listen to me, and everyone thought, oh, your emotions are getting in the way, and you don't know what you're talking about. Even he said that to me, and he listened to Eric above me. That's crap, Dustin. I'm sorry, but that's crap. nobody would listen to me because I was so close to Nick. I was the only one who stuck up for him, and I tried to fight for him, but I couldn't because no one would listen to me. That really makes me mad.
Danielle, at that moment, when me and you and Amber were sitting up on that bed, I said, girls, what do you have to say?
Amber
said
spoke for me. Amber spoke for me. She spoke
but
and said everything
I gave you the same opportunity that
she
had. And you didn't, and you chose not to take that opportunity. And when I say because the previous weeks you did defend him, and you did, and you had all week long.
I went in the diary room and I cried for like 2 hours, Dustin, because I felt personally attacked, and that's not right.
Remember, when she left the room is when I left the room because she was so upset.
Absolutely, I'm not discounting that fact.
Sit here and break down in front of everyone? Is that fair?
No, absolutely not.
Well, you're discounting the fact that she left. You left. That's what you're saying. Why didn't you speak up? Because she was crying and she didn't want to break down in front of everyone.
And because even if I did say anything, nobody listened to me for the last 3 weeks. What difference is it going to make the last day? Nobody would listen to me.